Hit the restart button. We're right there to recharge those batteries. We're here to help you. Restart, recharge. Restart, recharge.
Hello and welcome everybody. I am Katie Ritter.
And I am Justin Thomas, and this is the Restart Recharge podcast, a podcast for coaches by coaches. We bring you tips and tricks to help you in your everyday work as an instructional technology coach, or whatever they call you in your school district.
So hopefully you're going to leave here today feeling a little bit less on your own coaching island as you listen.
And speaking of the island, maybe this is a good thing for islands, right? Because we're approaching summer. So today's episode is called Seize the Summer. So we're going to kind of give you some tips and tricks, ideas of what you can do to head into the summer, but still get some ideas for how you can make the most of your downtime this summer to still get some good ideas and things ready for the following school year. So we have two awesome coaches with us here today. We have Lisa Kuhn returning, and we also have Megan Whitacre on for the first time. So I will go ahead and introduce Lisa. You first met Lisa in episode 2, the remote face-to-face hybrid Oh My episode. And now she's back with you to share how you can seize your summer. You may remember her as the beret-wearing former French and info tech teacher, and she's now in her second year as a tech coach. One of her tips from that early episode still runs true here. We must take time to take care of ourselves. So keep listening and she will share how you can do just that. So please welcome Lisa.
Hello.
All right, welcome Lisa. And I have the pleasure to introduce Megan Whitacre to the podcast today. Megan taught middle and high school Latin for 6 years before joining the Forward Edge team. Now she serves as a tech coach in a local school district with a special focus on learning in a makerspace. As a Google certified trainer, Megan is passionate about helping students and teachers learn by doing and accomplish their goals. So welcome, Megan.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, we're going to kick it off and jump in with summer right around the corner. We can almost reach out and touch it at this point. But that said, summer is generally a downtime for coaches. And so just kind of talk a little bit about what does summer look like for you and where do you spend your time over the summer?
So I found last summer was a very busy summer. It was a different summer from what summers normally are. So forward edge coach, school coach, educator was crazy. But what I did find was really good for me was I got to spend a lot of time outdoors, kayaking and fishing and going to Hocking Hills to hike. And it was a great way to kind of recharge and restart my batteries as we kept busy over the summer. You never know how summer's going to go because it can go as you plan it, or more likely it's not going to go as you plan it, and projects and activities will be coming your way left and right. So last summer was a really good example of that. A lot of our conferences were canceled. So I'm looking forward to this year actually getting to attend some conferences, whether they be virtual or live. And last year, I know I was real busy with some PD activities that may or may not be as busy this summer. So we'll see.
Yes, we will see. We're recording this weeks ahead of the episode air date, so we're not exactly sure what summer's looking like yet.
No, exactly.
What about you, Megan?
I am hoping that we have some conferences because that's one of the things I usually really look forward to over the summer are those opportunities to learn. And another thing that I have loved over, last summer as a new Forward Edge coach and then in some previous summers, I love taking the summer to kind of leisurely work on my own education. Like there's not a crisis, so I can take some time to catch up on webinars or read books that have been on my list for a year or work on those, especially from a maker perspective, work on those passion projects to kind of build my maker skill set so that I can bring that back to the school year when kids have questions.
Awesome. And quick side note, you both mentioned conferences. Are there particular conferences that you would recommend that our coach listeners must get to over the summer?
I can't recommend ISTE enough. When it's in person, it's a real, well, all the time, ISTE is such a wealth of knowledge and experience. It's a great, great place to be and a great community to be a part of. I did get to go in person the summer before everything shut down, and it was probably the best conference I have ever been to. It was just so much information at once that it took the rest of the summer to digest everything that I learned.
We have a local one in this area called High Ames that I'm looking forward to this year. I actually got to meet a lot of our coaching team the first year I was here at High Ames. I got to meet them there. So I'm excited to actually be able to attend and hopefully participate as a presenter. But either way, I think it'll be a good time to, get to know some more of those area coaches and schools besides the one that I'm working in personally.
Awesome. Thanks.
Mhm.
Yeah, both of those are really good. I think I haven't got to go to High Ames quite yet. I was set to present last year, and then COVID happened. But ISTE, I felt like was done very well virtually this year to give that whole kind of experience. I had actually never gotten a chance to attend ISTE in person, but I felt the virtual side was very well done because you were able to catch some of those different seminars you might have missed, and in person, you're trying to run to either side of the convention center. So I felt like that was a really well done event. Want to go back to your topic about how, we're kind of still up in the air what kind of professional development we're going to have for this summer. But obviously, I'm going to go out on a limb and say we might have some form of a professional development this summer. So if you have led any professional development in past summers, how do you plan for that in accordance to looking a little bit different than a normal PD session during the school year? What kind of different ideas do you come in with when you're going to present for the summer?
Last summer, I was charged with my district to create a summer learning academy. They were getting ready to use some different tools. They wanted to ramp up for remote learning. And so I actually, over the summer, created a remote learning academy that included a mix of face-to-face time and some video time, and then posted it on our LMS for the school district so any teacher could participate in it. And they could even earn graduate credit with it. That differs a lot from my during the school year PD because most of what I do during the school year, even this year, has been in person. At worst, it's been some Zoom calls where some of us are in a room together, but because of the number of people and the size of the room, we had to spread people out and about. So it's more hands-on, or it has been more hands-on in the school year than it has been in the summer. I'm hoping that we get an opportunity to do more hands-on over the summer, again, whether it be with my own district or with other districts and schools that we're working with as a company. And then when we go back in late August, I get to do some face-to-face PD, and that will be very nice.
I have not done a lot of PD over the summer. I did help with, and I led some and then assisted some Google certification boot camps last summer. And so those are a unique animal, right? Because they're like a power-packed, several day long experience that you would never have time for during the school year. It's a great opportunity during the summer to do those. But as for like district PD, I'm going to defer to Lisa on that one.
That's still a great point, Megan. When you bring up like the jam-packed days that you wouldn't have time for over the summer, I just think that coaches have a great opportunity over the summer to fit things in that, you do need a little bit more time for. I know our team has talked on the podcast and we lead a lot of like lunch and learns. And, Lisa, on episode 2, you talked about the power PDs and little things that are short and sweet because teachers don't have the time to really dedicate and maybe dig as deeper through those school year sessions, but you really get an opportunity to do that over the summer. I know for me and my experience, any PD that took place prior to August it always felt much more laid back with the teachers. They come in comfy clothes. They're going to hit the pool later. Maybe they came from the pool, depending on the time of day. And so people are just generally a little bit more relaxed. You can have a little bit more fun with them. And a lot of times the teachers that are coming to summer PD, they're volunteering. And so they really want to be there. So again, you can sometimes get them to do things that you can't get them to do over the summer summer, just because the stress is there. Anything that takes place after August, you have to go back to that mentality of like, I am so busy, I have to get my classroom ready, and their mind is elsewhere. So I think I would just throw that out as a piece of advice. If you're thinking about August PD prior to school, they're going to be back in that mindset of like the stress of the school year right around the corner. So that's been my experience with the summer PD. But obviously coaches leading PD over the summer is a huge thing that we do in the summertime for our educators. But what other types of tasks have you seen that you have been tasked with, whether it was last summer or in previous years, or even thinking ahead to this summer to help support the districts?
I am really looking forward to this summer because I'm hoping to get some bigger initiatives off the ground next year. Like I want to implement some coaching cycles and a more structured PD schedule. This year was so crazy that it was kind of hard to get anything going. And so I'm really looking forward to getting that stuff going and having the summer to plan everything, to have all of my materials ready to go, so that when things are crazy again in August, I don't have to, I'm not reinventing the wheel.
And I can't agree more. That is one of the pieces that I'm looking forward to as well. Since we've had this year and a half of COVID education, it's going to be nice to actually be able to plan for at least somewhat of a known situation when we come back in the fall. Because last summer was just so crazy, not knowing if people were going to be in person, remote, a mix, hybrid, what. And this year there seems to be a little more certainty and more of a vision of what the year's going to look like starting off. So it's going to be really nice to have that planned time to be able, again, I've got some initiatives as well that are similar. It'll be nice to be able to plan those and know that they've got a chance.
It'll be nice
Yeah.
to be able to plan.
Yes.
Yes, I can vouch for. I planned professional development for 4 districts. They're all combined into one, and some of them were going in person, some of them were going hybrid, some of them were going fully remote. So that was a little wild to try and cover all of your tasks and topics within that. But definitely was a good learning experience to then dive in and really help out and help 4 different districts at one time with different ideas on what they could use to prepare as best you can for what the school year is going to hold.
Yeah, as you guys were all talking, I was envisioning like, we are no longer having to learn how to fly the plane while we're in the air. Like we get to put the plans and the learning in place and then hit takeoff, right? We'll deal with the turbulence once we're up in the air, but we know what's coming. So, obviously we know that last year was crazy. I'm so curious to see what this summer does and how it unfolds. I know districts are going to be very focused on, taking advantage of summertime to close any learning gaps and putting kind of some unique things in summer school in place. So do you anticipate this summer potentially being tasked with anything to do with that? Or have you not been so much as a coach involved in those processes?
In my case, I have not been involved in those processes. Most of what I've been asked to work on are getting teachers ready for next year because our school district is going through a pretty massive building reorganization. So teachers are going to be working in some cases with different principals in the past. They're going to have different technology available to them in their buildings. And so we're already starting with some of the grade levels working with that technology to get them ready for the summer or for the fall. And so I have not really been involved in that summer learning gap fix to this point.
I also have not really been involved in those conversations. My school district, pardon me, has been in person though since August, so I'm not sure if the conversations are at to quite a scale as perhaps a district that has had to be remote a lot of the year.
Yep. And that definitely makes a difference because we've been in person for the most part as well. And even though there are still some gaps from the original COVID last year, the teachers have done a great job in bridging some of those gaps. But I do know they've been talking about it and preparing. And
yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see if teachers reach out over the summer, maybe more than they typically do, like as a result of them needing the support. So anyway, more to come. We'll see how that unfolds for coaches.
Yeah, obviously, with my district, it's going to be interesting. I know they had a virtual option, so there are some kids that came in like halfway through the school year, and then there's going to be kids that are going to come back after doing full year remote. So we'll keep those conversations open. But one thing that I'm sure is going to come my way is tools. What tools or topics in general are teachers going to want? But I want to focus a little bit on both of you. Are there any tools or topics that you plan to just dig deeper into this summer? Like any other major updates that have come for maybe a tool that you really enjoy or a topic? Or is there just something completely brand new that you want to spend some time and get to know a little bit better?
I am hoping to spend some time wrapping my head around all of these different Google updates that I know Lisa has spent some time on recently.
Oh yeah.
um, that I think is going to be my biggest thing. But then also, I think I mentioned at the beginning, building my maker skill set. I personally want to dive deeper into like Raspberry Pis and Python because that is something that my district is wanting to see a lot more of, and I barely have scratched the surface of. So I'm hoping to get a chance to dig deeper into those kinds of tools. And think about how they fit in a larger curriculum. Like if you're not teaching video game design, what is the point of having a Raspberry Pi? And like, I'm sure there is one, and I would really like to know it. So I'm going to keep playing around and researching.
Oh, that's great. Yes, so Google's definitely one of my big ticket items for this summer as well, because there's so much that has already come out, as well as so much more to come for the summer, and especially launching in the fall. So I definitely need to keep up with that. I think my top tech tool as far as devices is going to be the view boards. This is something that many of the teachers in my district are going to have this fall for the first time. And so we've already begun working with that, but we're just at Viewboards 1.0. And I'm looking forward to learning enough so I can do a successful Viewboards 2.0 when we come back in the fall, because there's so many exciting features that thing has to make teaching easier and more efficient and flexible. And I wish I had one when I was teaching. Yeah, those are just amazing. The other thing I want to do is dig more deeply into Schoology. That's our learning management system. I know a lot about it, but again, it's going through changes as well. And we're trying to, as a collaborative effort between me and the tech department and the EMIS secretaries, we're trying to make that all work more seamlessly. And we're starting to find little tricks and strategies to make that integration between Dazzle and Schoology work much more easily for us and more the way we want it to.
I feel like a lot of our tools that we commonly use have been undergoing like development and update at warp speed this year, understandably, because
Yes.
a lot of them have gotten heavy use. I think it's going to be really important for me to just kind of touch some of those tools again, ones that I haven't maybe used in a while, like Edpuzzle even, or Schoology and integration. How does that work? My teachers use that all the time. I want to make sure I'm familiar with the most up-to-date methods.
Yes.
Yeah, Megan, I think that's a good point because like I love how Brooke puts it, she was on our episode 4 about testing, and she says, I'm not a ed tech tool salesperson. But that said, it's also important for us to understand, I always tell you guys, you don't need to know every detail about every tool out there, but having a general enough sense of what it does. And I really believe, every time that a new tech coach starts on the team, and I tell them that part of their training is like, just spend some time playing with tools so you understand what it would be like for a teacher and student to use these. Everybody always questions me, but I think just the playing with tools is really important for coaches. And Megan, you bring up a great point that the summer is really the perfect opportunity to get to do that. And I want to chime in before we go on to the next question. I want to chime in just on a couple of things that you guys said. One, Lisa, you mentioned the view board training. If people don't know what view boards are, they're interactive boards, interactive display boards in the classroom. And I like how, you guys you've broken it up into your 1.0 and 2.0. And I just want to compliment you and the other coaches on our team leading that and kind of offer some advice to other coaches if you are being tasked to lead training on, new projectors that, that you got in the building, we joke like we don't fix the projector, but we do help, teachers use it. So no matter what the device is that your teachers are using in their classroom, it would really behoove you as a coach to become really well versed. And when you lead your trainings, don't necessarily just show them what the buttons do, but really embed, whether it's the embedded software that comes with it or it's other tools that they can use really well with that interactive board, really help show them how that device can change their instruction. And I think that you guys do a really great job with those trainings, because if we're just showing them like, hey, this is how you turn it on, this is how you switch inputs, that's not really going to help everyone. But if you can really show them additional tools to change the instruction, I think that that's where you can really add a lot of a value as a coach. So I would just throw that out there. And then the other thing that I want to say, any coaches working in schools that use Google for Education, you need to get up to speed on all of the changes that are coming. There are now 4 different tiers of service. And based on that, you will have access to different features with some of their tools. It is now called Google Workspace for Education. And there are 4 different tiers, the first still being free. And then pricing goes up from there. So anyway, that's not what this episode is about. So I don't want to belabor that point. But when you guys both mentioned it, I thought, oh shoot, if a coach doesn't know about this yet, they better get on it. So wanted to throw that out there.
One of the things that I found trying to do more of this year is to break my trainings down into smaller chunks. This is something that we all know as teachers, that if we give information to our students in smaller chunks, they learn it better. And I think many of us, maybe all of us, feel overwhelmed with the fact that we've got to get all this information in because we've been remote, or we've been absent, we've been quarantined, and we have to shove all this information down, and nobody benefits from it. So start your trainings with a nugget. And then what I'll often do is I'll add links for those who want to explore deeper before the next training session. And then that way your high flyers can still dive really deeply. And then the people that you're just introducing to the concept can still feel comfortable with what they're doing. Because I know, and Katie had mentioned my power PDs earlier, they're just short little 30 minutes or less. And we all know that 30 minutes for a how to use something well PD is a short amount of time. So we got to make sure that we keep it short and sweet for everybody, ourselves included.
So with that, I think before we jump into the next question, we will take a very short break from our sponsor.
Looking for a program that reaches all teachers in learning new tools to integrate in their lessons? Edu Badges is the answer. Edu is an anytime, anywhere badging program that is designed to take bite-sized tools for instruction and teach teachers how to use them. Edu has received the ISTE Seal of Alignment for educator standards, and each badge in our expanding library is aligned to the ISTE standards and the SAMR model. Learn more about the program that teachers call addicting at forward-edge.net/edubadges.
All right, welcome back. We are talking about how to seize the summer as a coach with 2 of our coaches at Forward Edge, Lisa Kuhn and Megan Whitacre. So ladies, in the summer, actually episode 5, we talked all about getting social and using different social media to grow your PLN and your practice as a coach. So, I have noticed that sometimes those things die down a little bit over the summer, but how do you continue to connect with your PLNs over the summer?
One of the things they talked about in episode 5 that I really want to do over the summer is participate more in Twitter chats online. I am a habitual lurker in Twitter chats. Like, I read everything the next day, but I do not participate or put my own contribute to the conversation. So
I love the self-proclaimed habitual lurker. I think a lot of people are going to start using that now, Megan. That's good.
That's what happens. That's how I feel. But I want to participate in the conversation this summer when I have more time and I have more space to breathe. I'm gonna go find some good ones, and you'll start seeing my tweets out there.
Ooh.
Yep, and my plan is to continue with some of my professional development. And I find that when I'm in a project, I tend to get more involved with the PLN than if I'm doing my school-related work or my specific forward edge work. So I'll be working on Google Certified Trainer and Coach over the next couple of months. So I know I'll be diving into things more deeply there. And then as Megan mentioned earlier, the ISTE conference is a great way to connect. And whether it's a specific PLN or not, you get to connect with just groups of people that are of like mind as you and sharing items, and you can find out which PLNs really serve your needs the best and start, attending those or connecting with them in whatever ways you can with the time you have.
I almost forgot ISTE was in the summer because it was like right after Thanksgiving this past year. But
Yep.
That's awesome. Both of you are looking. I'm going to be looking out for your tweets, Megan. So
Watch out, they're coming. They're coming.
Okay.
Yeah, and Lisa, I'll just chime in and share really quickly. We actually have, for all of the coaches listening who are interested in becoming a Google certified coach, we are going to have Amanda Del Blaso from Google, who is the program manager for the certified coach program, on in a couple of episodes. So we'll be talking about advice for everyone who's interested in applying for the certified coach program over the summer.
Excellent.
Yeah, that should be really exciting to have her on. Talking just momentarily, this is going to be a theme. I think Katie and I were talking about this, but what are your 3 things that you recommend for other coaches to do during the summer to utilize their downtime? Now, I know we talked about a lot of great things, but is there like 3 specific things that, if you can only do 3 things, because we all know summers can get pretty hectic for everybody. What are your top 3 things that you think coaches could really get a lot out of it for preparing them for the next school year? What can they do this summer?
Actually give yourself downtime. You've got to give yourself that time to step back. You don't want it to be 5 days in a row every week necessarily, but you need to step back at least, even if it's like a few minutes a day, an hour a day, or 15 minutes to take a walk around the building. Something where you just have a moment to breathe and recenter yourself. It just helps so much, those little pieces that when we're on the run during the school year and constantly helping teachers or planning for the next PD or responding to emails, we often don't take that chance. And so when you feel like you've got a little bit of downtime, go ahead and take advantage of it. The other thing is I like to kind of reflect and think about what I did during the school year and what I can do differently in the fall or even over the summer. If I'm working with teachers and districts over the summer, it's okay to fail. That's one thing that I try to kind of let my teachers know. Again, we teach it to the students all the time. It's okay to make mistakes and learn from them. And teachers really appreciate that mindset. I've had several teachers who have told me, thank you for not judging me. Thank you for just realizing I'm a human and I'm not a techie and I don't know what I'm doing. They love that. So I try to give myself that grace as well as I'm learning new things. And then finally, I love connecting with my colleagues, with my friends, with whomever. So even with our Friday office days during the school year, it's nice to have more time in the summer to collaborate and connect and have fun on game Fridays and just relax and enjoy what we're doing. Because if you don't like what you're doing, why do it?
Amen, sister.
I pre-wrote a list before this, and it was pretty much the same as Lisa's. Great definitely relax, make some space for rest, definitely make some space for reflection. I like make a practice at the end of every semester to just try to kind of just write out in a document that goes to no one except for myself, like what went well, what should I keep going, what needs to change. And then my last one is to take some time to read. There are some really great books out there about motivation and creating culture change, and this is the best time to digest them when your brain is not worried about any other things. So yeah, take some time to read and do it by the pool or at a beach.
I was just going to say that. I think that's what everyone does, right? You got to get your book when you go out to the beach, and then you just read and enjoy the waves and all that good stuff that goes along with it. Is that what you two are going to plan on doing with your books?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I
gotta
didn't know if
get
there
to
was
the
anything
beach.
else.
I'm usually by a lake or a pond in the local area. So it's not quite beachy, but it's nice to just relax and have the sunshine and a nice
Oh, yeah.
cocktail.
You know, there is a beach in Ohio. You could always go up to Lake Erie if you wanted a beach, theoretically.
Oh, I thought you were going to refer to the beach
Well,
in Kings
there is
Mill.
the beach too. Yeah, I guess so. Like, there's all sorts of beaches that you can go to. Just take your book and you'll have a great time. Maybe sit in the lazy river or something like that. That can work.
Exactly.
No, but I will say you guys are teeing up our next episode perfectly because we're going to dive into book recommendations and different kind of book recommendations to help you with your coaching practice. So tune in June 1st for that.
Yeah. So then you know which book to go out and get when you go to the beach, whether it's, amusement park, water park, or, freshwater, saltwater. I don't know. I'm going on a tangent about beaches here, but what can maybe go with the beach or go to the mountains? Here's my coaching tip. We have a coaches camp that's coming up this June 16th and 17th, right here in Cincinnati. Now there are both in-person and virtual options. So you can, if you can't get here quite right on the dates or something like that, but you can tune in virtually. You have that option too. We do, as Anne-Marie Reinhardt likes to say, we do like to see people in 3D. So if you're able to come, please do. I think the spots are filling up pretty quickly, aren't they, Katie? So there's only a few spots left.
They are, yeah. We're just over half full when we're recording this episode in April. So if for some reason by the time this episode drops and goes live and we are full, we are potentially going to look at adding a second coach camp this summer. So stay tuned for more information on that if for some reason we are full by the time this goes live.
Okay, so there you have it. And it's coaches camp, but we're not actually getting sleeping bags and tents and going out camping. My brother actually asked me that. He said, "Hey, I saw that on Twitter. Are you guys actually going camping?" I'm like, "No, it's not quite camping." But so if camping's not quite your thing, right? If camping's not quite your thing, still come because it's not like a legitimate, outdoors camping. But if camping is your thing, sure, bring it anyways, and make something happen, I guess.
No, we're just going for the nostalgia because camp is fun,
Yes.
and this 2-day hands-on training is going to be fun, at least if you're into coaching. So then you'll enjoy it. But I think that's it for today. Lisa and Megan, thanks so much for spending time with us. Really enjoyed getting to talk to you guys.
Thanks
Thanks for having us.
You bet. So be sure to subscribe to Restart Recharge wherever you listen to podcasts at restartrechargepodcast.com, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at RRCoachCast. And that's right. You heard me say Facebook. In the spirit of episode 5, we decided about getting social. We decided to add a Facebook page. So you can find us there at facebook.com/RRCoachCast.
And then you can use any of our social media platforms, including Facebook now, to reach out to us and let us know what topics that you would like us to discuss.
So press the restart button.
Recharge your coaching batteries and leave feeling equipped and inspired to coach fearlessly with the Restart Recharge podcast.
A Tech Coach Collective. Well, awesome, ladies. I think this is a nice little short and sweet episode.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.